So where I'm from Knoxville. All my answers are Knoxville. I work in Knoxville. I've worked in Knoxville for my whole first career for Marion County, and went to school there. And I always tell people the next thing that happens, yeah, I'm one of the guys that had Cappy for a teacher. Oh, my first memories are going with my dad. My dad was a farmer, and he farmed quite a bit of ground for back in the day, and he couldn't take me every weekend, so my uncle would take me. But my first memories is going with my dad, and just loved going and sitting on top of the grandstands. Oh, of course, there's no other answer other than if you said Jerry Blundy or Earl Wagner, and I was Earl Wagner because my other buddies was Jerry Blundy, so I didn't know Earl if he walked in the room back then, but I really liked Earl. You know, I kind of wanted to race. I really wasn't deciding. I took a venture off in drag racing a little bit with some guys, friends of mine that had a drag car, Stanton Brothers, and went to a lot of those. And I kept saying, you know, we really need to go back to Knoxville to watch sprint car races. And so my heart was there for racing. I got into go-kart racing, and of course I had the best of stuff in go-kart racing and won. Ended up in sprint car racing and didn't have the best of stuff. Oh, 1987, I always said, you know, maybe it was changing after that, but in my book, the costs were getting so high, and I really wasn't accomplishing what I wanted, and I talked to Cappy about quitting. You know, I was just going to quit the racetrack, and he goes, I want you to come work for me at the racetrack when you quit racing. So that might have been a year before, and then in 87, I said, I'm ready to quit racing. So he said, well, I'm ready to hire you. Cappy was such a great person, people, that he'd always say, you know, you got to be very personable and just listen to people talk and don't say too much. And I don't know if I learned to that. Sometimes I can't keep my mouth shut. Well, there's several of them. Number one would be Mike Fisher. My gosh, the voice of the infield. Mike Fisher has done everything. I don't think there's one thing that if nobody else around there can figure out where it's at, Mike Fisher knows where it's at. The toughest part of my job is instituting a penalty on somebody, no matter being on the racetrack or a mechanical, technical issue. That's the toughest, because you got to weigh, is they really trying to cheat? Did they get caught by a trick, you know, by a deal, or was the intent to cheat? So you got to make that decision. But that is the toughest. We're not there to penalize anybody. I know Earl Wagner, you asked me about what was the best advice from Cappy. Well, Earl gave me some of the best advice was, we're not out here to witch hunt. We're just trying to keep people on an even playing field. That's our job. Most rewarding job, part of the job, I guess. I'm like anybody else. You'd like somebody to say it was a great show. You got over good. Most rewarding to me personally is 2017 season. I don't think our ambulance rolled to the hospital once. That's a huge thing to say in sprint car racing. Hopefully we keep up the racing as good as it is, and it's been great last several years. And I do like the new format. I know there's some people that don't, but the format makes them race in the heat races. I think we're really looking hard at having, thanks to Kendra and Spire, as a lot of people have really come up, and the excitement is there. It's just every time I walk into place on Saturday night, I kind of look early and I go, man, where's the crowd? And then all of a sudden I forget about it. In 15 minutes, I'm like, man, there's a heck of a crowd here. So somebody's doing the job right. It's the racers, and it's our promotions, and just our fans. You know what? Alan Dehi's done a heck of a job with that. And I think it kind of started out as a lark. We both said, well, if we get 5, what do we do? It's not going to be a make of a difference. Well, I'm going for 10. I think he's at 24 right now. What a huge deal. And it shows you that what great fans we have, and we have great sponsors that don't just quit sponsoring. Some of these are that spending a lot of money other places, and they kick into this. So that's huge. How come you don't run rain dates? That's the easiest, top of my list. Rain dates never work for us. I could point out issues that other tracks have had. You know, you build your fan base on Saturday night. Our fans love to come racing on Saturday night, and God bless them. Problem is they don't really want to come back on Sunday night. There's 2 weeks out of the year we set aside for Sunday night, and you know, rain date on the 410s, God forbid, and then the 360 and the Capitani Classic. But we got a crowd built in that want to come to the races. I know I'm going to have a lot of diehard fans say, man, we'll be there. There's just not enough of those. People have functions. They want to go boating. They want to go do the other things on Sunday night in Knoxville area, in Des Moines area. Saturday night's our night, and let's stay with it. Well, it could go back to 30 laps ever, but, you know, I don't know why. It seems to be the product is what you pay. And Cappy jumped the gun a little bit on that. It was supposed to be 150 for the 50th, and I think we paid 140 on the 40th. And we was going to do it one night. As far as we was concerned, God bless the ardent fans, our longtime fans, but we got a whole new group of fans that I think would just fall out of their chair if the thing went back to 30 laps. And here's another thing. They can't do 30 laps on these tanks. They're not going to do it. We're going to have a fuel stop anyway. Most of the tracks, unless they really slick off around that do other shows, they just don't come out and say they're going to have a fuel stop. They end up having one. They'll have a yellow or a red. Well, let's fuel them up anyway. We came out up front, said we was going to make it work, and I think we've made it work into a heck of a show. The number one thing at Knoxville, I think the fair board, Cappy, myself, we've always kept the same mantra. Number one is the fans. Everything we try to do is for the fans. Number two, I say, it's kind of a toss-up. You always want to treat the sponsors extra special, but you can't let the teams be number three hardly. It's a tough deal. So sponsors and teams are next, and then it's us. So I tell people, no matter how mad you get at somebody, they're a fan or they're a team or sponsor. Keep your cool. That's your job. And let's do what we got to do to put on the best show for the fans.